When looking for the king of podcasts, you're at the wrong channel.
Well, excuse me!
Looking for good ideas for life? You're far from good hands.
Hey, bud, what's your problem?
If you think the listener is always right, you're far from the right place.
Out of order! Even in the future, nothing works!
Hosted by a Northeasterner by birth, but a rebel by choice.
Are you threatening me?
If you want a host that floats between love and madness,
and we know the night is always gonna be here anyway. Thinking of you's working up my appetite. Looking forward to a little afternoon delight.
then play on and listen to Crazy Train Radio.
All right, guys, listen to this blues riff and B. Watch me for the changes and try and keep up, okay?
Warning, creators of this game do understand the subject matter may be offensive to some, but they do honor the families and people that have been affected by these real-life tragedies that these individuals have caused. Want to play a game?
Oh, yeah!
Lover of true crime?
Yes, yes, yes.
Well, we got an interesting game for you to check out.
Wow.
With the mashup of influences such as horror movies, collecting cards, and RPGs.
What?
Led to giving birth to an incredible creation of this game, Killers, the card game.
You are all my children now.
This game is a collectible trading card game featuring some of the most infamous killers, with tidbits of trivia on the back of each card to help you learn some insight to each criminal.
Who the hell are you?
Let's not forget, during the game, cops will be chasing you and these criminals.
I'm a cop, you idiot!
However, check out their website listed through all social media today, which can be found under Killers, the card game.
Am I on the internet?
I want to play a game.
Hi everybody, this is Cathy Podewell. You're listening to Crazy Train Radio. I think you know me maybe from Night of the Demons, but also Hippie Dallas, or Growing Pains, or Johnny Depp Killed Me and I Got My Side Card. Tune in, you'll find out.
Hey folks, it's your least favorite host in the podcast world, Croc, Jonathan Steele. And boy, do we have a good one for you today. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this next guest certainly shows it is impossible to predict what will happen in life, as you can be on one path professionally, then at the snap of your fingers, find yourself heading in a different direction moments later.
What?
This next guest, acting, would be a passion that was discovered at a young age, but made a huge decision to pursue it professionally. She became a regular part of the CBS primetime soap opera Dallas. But many of our fans will be familiar with her from the cult classic Night of the Demons. So let's go ahead and welcome Miss Cathy Podewell.
Oh, giggity.
Cathy, how are you doing this evening?
Hello, Jonathan. I'm great. I'm really great.
Wonderful. And we were just kind of doing a sound check and chit chat and stuff. And I do gotta say, before as we get going, I appreciate, and obviously the video won't be seen, but she has the awesome full glass shower because she's doing this from the bathroom.
I am. It's my sanctuary in the sense that I think nobody will come knock on the door, and certainly my mother, who has Alzheimer's, won't find me in here. So that's sort of why I'm in the bathroom. Sorry, everyone. Hope it's not in poor taste, but
No, not at all. I was just trying to see if we can tell the type of soap and the other things, if there's like toiletries here on the other side. Well, I figured if we had brand names, I can reach out for some sponsorships for this
that's
episode.
good. Yeah,
thinking outside the box.
Yeah, no, there's nothing.
Well, as you say that, since about your mother, I'm going to pour a drink and have a toast in her honor for people that deal with Alzheimer's and the family members, because they deal with it as well. It's not just the one.
Yes,
it's not just the one side of things. So, what's your mother's name?
Oh, I have my bubbly water. Judy, to Judy.
Hey, how ironic. To Judy.
Why? Oh, yeah, Night of the Demons. I'm like, what? Is your mom Judy? Oh, no. I got it. All right, cheers.
To Judy.
To alcohol, the cause of and solution to all of life's problems.
All right. So, like, as you can tell, like to keep things pretty relaxed and all that fun stuff. It's funny. One of the things I noticed in doing background and all that fun stuff, because I like to be a little well-informed once in a while, as you could tell with the picture books behind me and all that fun stuff. I can't explain the picture book for JFK. No, never mind. I won't make that joke. Not right. Because I was a history guy and still am. So anyway, I like to be a little well-informed. And the thing that stood out right away for me was how amazing it was that your grandfather had a famous scene in Groundhog's Day with Bill Murray. And he was, for folks, so you can go and pinpoint it and see the family lineage here, he was the gentleman who was the homeless character asking for money in the repetitive scene. So,
right before Ned Ryerson falls off. Ooh, that's a doozy.
Yeah,
my grandfather was on the corner. Yeah.
So anyway, but your grandparents, both grandparents, were involved with theater, and everything I know is online. Everything online I know is true. So did your grandmother do radio as well too?
She did. Very good. Yeah. She did Ma Perkins. I mean, she did some like famous of its time radio shows that were my grandparents lived in Chicago, so she was very involved in radio in Chicago, and then early television. I can't remember the name of the television studio. It was like where Kukla, Fran, and Ollie, and I think Dave Galloway, who went on to do the Today Show, he had his own show. There was a show called Stud's Place, and it was shot on Kinescope live in front of an audience. And it was starring my grandmother Studs Terkel's show. That's why it was called Stud's Place. And it was sort of like a Cheers kind of situation where people would come into the restaurant, and each episode would revolve around a character, probably coming in and out of the restaurant. And it was like 1939. So it was very, very early television, like I said, live on Kinescope. And then my grandparents both were theater actors in Chicago. And as you have pointed out, my grandfather made guest appearances in Groundhog Day, but also some other movies that shot in Chicago. So it was very appropriate that I got my SAG card in Chicago, ironically. So that is like a full circle kind of moment with my acting lineage. I had to be a local hire. A friend got me, So a friend got me in front of the director, and the director's like, yeah, I'll completely hire you, give you, Taft-Hartley, you get your side card. You just have to get to Chicago and, have a place to stay. And I was like, I got my grandparents. So, yeah.
And your aunt and everything else, so.
Exactly. Yes.
I was double checking to make sure I was thinking of it, because you mentioned the old TV studio. Was that part of, I don't know the name of the studio. Was it part of the old DuPont network?
I don't think so. It was like WGB or W.
That does the Cubs baseball. WGN?
No, not WG. Oh, I wish I knew. I'm going to have to look that up because there's an old picture of my grandma with the cast of Stud's Place, and then the Kukla, Fran, and Ollie people, and Dave Garraway. Is that who? Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
Like first Today Show. Anyway, and it's like the three groups in a studio shot from, and I think it says at the bottom what the name of the studio was. So I'll have to get on that.
And once we do, I'll let everybody know. But I thought of the DuPont network because one of the things that was great for early TV and all of that time period. Well, the time period I'm thinking of in the 50s was professional wrestling. And it was out of Chicago, the DuPont network, because being a major hub because there wasn't cable TV, all that fun stuff.
Right.
But I do want to mention, since you mentioned Stud's Place, was also if I remember correctly, because I pretend to read and write and act like I know what I'm doing, is where it was also the influence for I Love Lucy and their writers to develop that show.
Lore, legend, urban myth, whatever have you. I've heard through the years that, yes, some of the I Love Lucy writers were definitely inspired by Stud's Place. And again, early sitcom, 1939. I can't remember when I Love Lucy started. 1938, 39, I think Stud's Place.
I'll pull it.
Yeah.
They got this fancy thing called Google on phones now.
Yeah, no, we can ask these questions and then we can find out. It's amazing how that works, right?
Well, as I pull that up, I'm curious to know, and if I heard this right, please correct me if I'm right or wrong. But was there people involved with music as well, like jazz and such, in your family as well?
Very good. You're so good. You've done all of your homework. Yes, so my aunt, again, my grandparents' daughter, my dad's sister, is a jazz singer. She's occasionally still will sing, but she sang at the end of with Benny Goodman at the end of his career, Woody Herman at the end of his career, because she's only 75, so we're talking the 80s. Buddy Rich, I think she toured a little with Buddy Rich, so she's she had a lot of success for someone her age, of her generation, to sing with some of the greats. And then on my same family, my uncle, his wife is Banu Gibson, and she's very famous in New Orleans. She has Banu Gibson and the Hot Jazz Band, so she's toured and traveled and done all the jazz festivals, and she's pretty famous within that world. So 2 jazz aunts that I'm very proud of, have all their albums.
And 2 things. Well, the one I'll tell you when we're done, it's a funny jazz story, even though it's out there, because this particular singer who does all forms, she's just super talented. I'll have to connect you with her.
Okay.
There's a funny story, because her ex-husband was a comedian. I don't want to, even though the story's out there, I don't want to tell it and waste that time. But the other thing as far as I Love Lucy, the first episode was in October of 51 in the States.
51. Wow. 51.
Yeah.
So that was, okay. So we're talking 12 years, 13
difference.
Years. Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to bring up personally, which I thought was cool, was apparently you've done, like you said, families based in Chicago, all that fun stuff. But you moved to Northern California early on when you were Little.
2. Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, there's hence why the whole story she was saying about being a local and all that,
Right.
all that fun stuff. But she technically did have ties to Chicago, folks. She wasn't BSing there. But the thing I heard, which I think was awesome and kind of was an inspiration for me for stuff we do, and I'll tell you about that later when we get off, is you apparently devoted some time each summer volunteering for MDA. So what was it about MDA that hit your heart?
So funny. I get so like you say that and I get emotional right away. So story is last day of my junior year, I had always seen this younger kid who was a year younger in a wheelchair, and I guess he got up the nerve to talk to me on the last day of school my junior year. And his name was Steve Meyer. And we just hit it off. And he literally, within that hour conversation after school on the last day, said, would you come to muscular dystrophy camp that I go to every summer and be a camp counselor? And I just was like, sure. So that started a lifelong connection and friendship with everybody I met there, counselors, fellow able-bodied counselors. And then as we all kind of grew up and out of the MDA camp, kid camp, we formed a nonprofit and had an adult camp. So we could all stay together, we could all be together every summer. And that lasted up until I was 40 something. So
the camp itself lasted till then?
Yeah.
Okay.
We got together. Yeah, we probably haven't for the last 15 years, but I was like 40 something. And we still got together.
So, but it was still, that's a pretty cool thing that you were able to keep that train rolling.
It was, we're still a group. There's some surviving members. That's the horrible thing about muscular dystrophy is there's 40 different types, and depending on the one that you have, big strides have been made with certain like Duchenne, muscular dystrophy. But anyway, yeah, so I have lost lots of friends, but we still keep in touch, and it's near and dear to my heart for sure.
Right on. And might get me buzz buddy and then the cheers, but to folks with muscular dystrophy as well.
Cheers. Cheers. Yeah, it's funny because the MDA got wind of, the president got wind when I was on Dallas that I was part of the community and I was a counselor and everything. And they asked me to be, sort of the spokesperson for the camp. So I did that for a year or two, but then they got wind that we were a branch of now we had broken off because they kind of termed out of the kids camp and we had formed our own group. And so I had to part ways with MDA because I was going to stay with my friends. I wasn't going to, so there was a little bit of a conflict there, but
can I call bullshit on that?
Yeah,
because you're still supporting the.
I know, and I'm hesitant. I just told the story, but I'm always hesitant to even mention it because it is such a. I mean, they raise a lot of money and they do such great things. But it kind of broke my heart at the time because I had to sort of pick, and I could have done a lot of good on their end, but I wasn't willing to not be a part of the group that I, was a co-founder of. So, but they, I get it. They have, they don't want all these groups. They feel very sorry. Although now there's, I think, a lot of fundraising groups for specific, Lou Gehrig's or whatever. There's, the different dystrophies have their own nonprofits, I believe. So,
yeah. And the reason I said that was actually an inspiration, I guess you could say, in some aspects. And I always say I'm too big to be small, but too small to be big kind of deal as far as podcasts, all that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so anyway, during, make sure I do my math right, Carry to 7, plus the two. No, all kidding aside, it was during COVID when we were still in the height of COVID going into 2021. I said, F it in a good way. And first year we did a 3-day marathon. During the day, we didn't go all night and all that, like the Jerry Lewis MDA telethon. So that's why I said it was kind of
That's so great.
where we'd have live interviews, streaming of movies with guests featured with the movies, which then spun off and started my watch parties we do. We'll talk about that off air as well. But then next year was for Children's Hospital of LA, then did one for Children's Hospital of Philly, and last year was for leukemia. So each year pick a different group and do it and raise, try to do good with this platform. So
that's amazing.
So anyway, she couldn't say hello, but there's a Instagram influencer I asked to join us who wanted to say hello, but she's stuck at a dinner right now. So she was just sending me a message. Obviously, I said in the intro, our fan base knows Night of the Demons and all that stuff. And I want to mention, while we're going professionally here, August 9th through the 11th, you'll be in my neck of the woods of Jersey to do a reunion for Jersey Horror Con.
Yes.
And folks like yourself, Linnea Quigley, who's been a close buddy for several years, does great charity work with animals as well. Love Linnea. She's great. Yep. Let's see. Amelia Hal. I just talked to about 2 weeks ago.
I know you said, yeah.
Hal was great.
Alvin, I think.
Yes, he's going to be there as well. Those are the ones that I know for sure are going to be on there.
I think for sure. Yeah.
Maybe I can poke, even though I'm not a convention agent, maybe I can poke Nick Benson to join you as well. Yeah. Because he's a buddy.
I think Nick might be coming to that one. He usually, I'm not sure, actually.
Yeah. I'll ask him later on, because I talk to Nick often. So, but you guys are going to be up in Edison, New Jersey.
Yeah.
I'll have a link for that as well. So obviously, I know you stepped back professionally for about 2 decades because of 3 people. I believe you call them your children.
I do call them children, yes.
Yeah. No, but all kidding aside.
But yes.
Those kids, how dare they? No. All kidding aside, conventions, what's that like going into that world? Because obviously I got a house take because he's not per se a crowd person and all that. Yeah, I'm not saying nothing that he didn't say himself.
Right. Yeah.
So what about you?
He's kind of a shy guy, a little bit. He's the sweetest.
He's a nice guy, great guy though,
Yeah. So I'd heard about this convention thing, but as far as Night of the Demons, I always say that I had no idea. I was in my mommy bubble and I didn't realize that Night of the Demons hung around and became a cult classic. And I literally thought it died on the Blockbuster shelves when they went out.
One of those things.
So I had an interaction, somebody recognized me, and it was a young guy, and I was like, how do you, there's nothing like television, unless they're rerunning something, how do you know me? It was Night of the Demons, it's a cult classic. So that's how I found out, and I called Kevin Tenney, the director. He confirmed, oh yeah, where have you been, kind of thing. But he knew, not really, because he and I kept in touch, and we'd get together, and his kids and my kids would play or whatever. But he was like, yeah, it's a cult classic. So when I got asked in, I think 2012, to do a Dallas reunion convention, I was shocked that half of the people that came up at this big Dallas reunion, half of this merchandise and the people were fans of Night of the Demon. And I was blown away. I couldn't believe it. So, so then I think after we did the Blu-ray DVD 30-year commentary, we kind of got together, and that kind of sparked us all getting together, and doing a few conventions here or there was a fantastic way for us to get together have these reunions and meet the fans. So it's been crazy. The nicest fans, the most just like will tell you what that movie meant to them and where they were and who introduced the movie to them. And just to sit on the receiving end of that is crazy, because I was just my kid's mom for so long, and that acting world seemed like
it was two separate worlds.
Oh, completely. And seemed like separated by such a long period of time that it was really awesome to feel like something I had done all those years ago kind of made a difference or was enjoyed by so many people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what the conventions have done. And I've done maybe like 3 Night at the Demons and 2 Dallas. But, you know, I always, like I said, I get a mix of both. And it's been great. So I'm looking forward to the summer, you know, and doing this.
Well, obviously, and we'll touch on Dallas and stuff too, but on the convention side of things, like you said, you did a couple for Dallas, and then you've done some for Night of the Demons.
Yeah.
And 2 things that were, and I guess still are in certain ways, that have left an impact on pop culture. And so I'm thinking, because I'm a memorabilia collector myself, and you know, so I understand that world. So I'm curious to know. It's scary with the knowledge of the history, a music nerd, and memorabilia collector as well.
Yeah.
But you know, it's like I got this mishmash of different areas.
Interest and love. That's great.
Yeah. No, but with the collectible scene and the conventions and stuff that you've done, have you had any strange items or strange encounters with fans that you have asked you to, hey, Cathy, can you sign this? Or that you just like that may have blown your mind? Because obviously I've heard of things like people getting it tattooed and this, different. Yeah, I heard of some strange things like that. And that's more maybe the horror side of things. But has anything stood out to you that you can think of? You go,
I mean, the only thing that's sort of awkward is I had somebody do a still shot of when Judy in Night of the Demons is disrobing. And so the shot
the closet scene, and when you're
I'm in my bra. Oh, I think they brought both the bra scene and when I'm, you know, taking my pants off. And, you know, it's like, I don't want to sign, you know, like it was a little awkward. But
yeah, that's one of those, Yeah,
I had John Hurt, you know, he was doing a Sharknado. You know who John Hurt is? You know, okay. And he came up to me. Actually, it was the very, I was going to say it was the very first one. I think it was the New Jersey Night of the Demons. Anyway, he came up to me and he was looking at my table and he's looking at my pictures and he was like, where's the titty pictures? You don't got no titty picture. He was so, I don't like, he was not being funny. He was like asking me like
dead seriously the way he was asking.
Oh, but a fellow celebrity is like, you know, that was like, no, sorry. You know,
that's a little, I don't know.
Home Alone.
Okay.
Home Alone. That's,
Oh, that John Hurt. Okay.
Yeah. Not John Hurt. John Hurd. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a colleague within the field, I don't know. Yeah, that seems a little.
I wasn't offended in any way.
I just don't think that's a question I would, you know what I mean, in that setting.
He just, he looking at the table next to me. Then he came to my table, and it was just his like, hey,
break the ice moment.
like you should have, like you're blonde. I don't know. You were in these movies. Why? Well, like why? Kind of thing. But anyway, otherwise, no, weird. Yeah, nothing. Like people who have like original posters, that's super cool that they found, like, or this Dallas person came up to me at a Night of the Demon show, but they came up with like a puzzle box or something. They literally had like 200 signatures, people who all the stars, the guest star. I mean, it was amazing as far as the amount of signatures on that for that.
A lot of time, a lot of money invested, just all.
Yes. But very cool. Like I'm not like an autograph person, but I love antiquing and thrifting. So like the thrill of the hunt. So like you can't really see it, but I have this collection of half dolls, and they're kind of rare. They're kind of hard to find. They're small, so you have to look. So the thrill of the hunt, and I would imagine that like getting all those signatures is like, because they said like, oh my God, I was so excited to see you were coming to the show and I could get your signature kind of thing. And I was like, oh, I'm a link in the puzzle that, they literally, it was a puzzle box, but that they wanted to complete, so amazing.
That brain with the memorabilia and autographs and stuff like that. Yeah. Yes, you hit it on. There's a certain thrill to the hunt.
Yeah.
With it, whether I have encounters with traveling teams, conventions, whatever, there's that certain buzz you get off it. Like you said, when you go looking for, there's a certain, when you accomplish a goal, and even doing what I do here, I've been doing it for 12 years, and it's like there's certain people, and you were actually on that list of the check mark. And I'm not saying that because you're sitting here, but it's like, okay, after the thrill and the energy dies out, which I'm still obviously in the energy, it's like, okay, who's next? That's on that forbidden list. Or I shouldn't say forbidden list. But there's that, and I'm not talking your top, your Chris Evans, your Robert Downey Jr.'s. Yeah, those would be great. Your Jim Carrey. But there's this list of folks. It's like that. Yeah. I'd love to talk to them and pick their brain. And
but isn't the thrill of the hunt like trying to figure out how to contact them?
Yeah.
And then getting a response or waiting. I mean, thank you for being patient, because I know you reached out months ago. And
yes, and that was cool because everything.
Yeah. But anyway, January. I'm saying, like, I would imagine that you put a lot of effort into the backside of getting a guest, and then when they finally actually are here and show up, that has to be satisfying.
And it's here's the thing with me, and it's like I said on that list. Yeah, it's more tricky when, say, somebody like yourself don't have, say, professional contacts.
Yes.
Your PR agents and managers, which sometimes don't, and I'm not knocking those people to do those jobs, but sometimes folks like that, and I won't say who or experiences I had, can make things a little murkier.
Yeah, for sure.
And I can always take this out if you say IMDb Pro was a godsend for some people. Yeah. And I think that's where I found you. Yeah. On the personal side, like you were running your IMDb Pro. Yeah. And that's where I reached out. Somebody you were listed. Yeah. So anyway, I reached out in January. Yeah. You said, hey, let's talk in 6 months or so, and here we are. Yeah. But it's like, I get more thrill from that in terms of, not so much that I got the response from you. It's like, okay, I'm on to something. Whether it happens or not, but it's like, when the ones that are more difficult to track down.
Yes. Yeah.
So, anyway, go back to demons in a minute. But one of the things And it's almost like I joke, it's almost like the 6 degrees of separation. Instead of Kevin Bacon, you would be 6 degrees of separation of Johnny Depp because he killed you on Lady Blue. And how many folks I've dealt with in the 12 years that had some sort of connection to Johnny Depp, whether it be Nightmare on Elm Street, 21 Jump Street, you know what I mean? Some of these projects that he was involved with, whether it be yourself, Holly Fields, this one, that one, it's like, it's just funny. So I call it the 6 degree of Johnny Depp.
Yeah, interesting. That's really interesting. Yeah, I have a great shot of Johnny and David Oliver, the two characters that killed me on that. That was my SAG card.
Hal even has a Johnny Depp story.
He does?
Oh, you don't know that story?
No.
Okay,
what?
Go ahead finish with the shot with it.
Well, I was going to say, what's Hal's Johnny Depp?
Okay, so to be brief with it, Johnny and Hal worked on a project together right after Demons.
Yeah.
So they were on a project together, and Johnny and I don't know, Johnny never interacted with Johnny, none of that. So I can't say.
Right.
This is what Hal told me. So they were in the makeup trailer or their trailer they were sharing, between setting everything up and all, like their honey wagon or whatever. And Johnny says to Hal, "Hey, you want to see something funny?" And Hal's like, "I got a sense of humor. Sure, why not? Yeah, let's do it." So wherever they were shooting, and they walk out of the honey wagon, and across the parking lot was like a group of fans that found out where they were shooting and all. And obviously everybody was talking about Johnny, Johnny, Johnny. And
You're naughty.
Hal's like, "I'm just a cool guy siding, hanging out with Johnny, right?" So they walk across the parking lot, it's between shots and all that fun stuff. And Johnny goes to it. She was of age, let's say 21, this young lady, one a fan. And he says to her, "Would you like an autograph?" Okay. Yeah, obviously, yeah. We signed my, upper chest. So you got a pen? You got to unloosen a button, unloosen. He signed all the way down from the top of her chest, like right under her throat, to her belly button, writing different things. Nothing bad, or you know what I mean. Yeah. But he was just having fun with it. Yeah. To Amanda, going all the way down, and by her belly button, right, Johnny Depp.
Oh my God!
And Hal's like, "Oh, that's kind of cool and funny and whatnot." And they took a couple pictures, all that fun stuff, and back to the honey wagon because they got to get ready for the shoot. Well, on whatever this was, and I'll have to ask Hal what it was, but they were fighting each other, and Hal's character beat the shit out of Johnny's character. Now, mind you, a half hour prior, these fans saw Johnny and Hal together. Now, all of a sudden, they turned on Hal, going, "He's the bad guy. He's the heel. He beat up our guy." So Hal had to he goes, "I'm not going out that way to trailer. You need to have me security and walk all the way around the perimeter. I ain't going out by those girls, though. There's 400 of them and one of me." But the way Hal tells it's kind of funny.
That is so funny. I didn't know. I don't even know. Do you remember what it was? What project? Was it TV?
I think it was TV.
Yeah.
I'll ask him and let you know.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay.
I can't remember what he told, but when he tells that story, it's funny. He goes, first I was the cool guy because I was hanging with Johnny. Then all of a sudden I'm the bad guy beating up Johnny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Done. Yeah, they turned on me quick.
Yeah. No.
But
that's funny.
Yeah, I thought it was good. Yeah, nice little Johnny Depp. But with Dallas, I want to go to Dallas real quick. And thank you for the time because of everything going on personally and everything. So with Dallas, you were obviously the bride to be for, J.R. Ewing and all that fun stuff. And it was supposed to be a one-off from what I read, but then it became more than you were expecting. So
for sure.
What was that? Was it true that you kept in touch with
Larry?
what's that? What's
Larry
that? Thank you. I was having a brain fart there. And it wasn't the 2 shots of whiskey, folks. But rumor was, yeah, it takes a lot more. I've had half bottles during watch-alongs. It's funny. And I get smarter as I go along and actually spit out facts. It's scary. Unlike the, but no.
As I get older, I lose words or I can see the actor when I'm trying to talk about it, and I cannot. I'm like, what is their name? Whatever. So I totally
that drives me nuts. But with Larry, was it true that you had kept in touch until Larry's death? Like there'd be Christmas cards, birthday cards, all that?
He sent me flowers for 20 years after the show ended. Like on my birthday every year. And I only saw him a couple of times. He came over. I went there. We as I got busy with my kids, raising my kids, I didn't see him as much. But I will love Larry till the day I die. There's a special place in my heart for that human being. And my time spent on that show was such a gift. Like you said, I was only supposed to do 6 or 7 episodes, and they just liked the chemistry. They increased the storyline, and I ended up being on the show for the last 3 seasons. And then not just Larry, but Patrick Duffy, Linda Gray, Cherie Wilson. I mean, Charlene Tilton. Like we love each other so much. I've been able to see them, at some reunions over the years, and we all, of course, miss Larry terribly, but just an amazing person, and I was so blessed to get to work with him and get to know him for sure.
Well, before I go back to Demons, and there's something else that I want to pop culture wise I want to bring up, but would you? Well, obviously, it leaves an impact when they go ahead and remake Dallas, and was it in the teens?
Yeah,
but first, because I like to ask people, because sometimes with different projects that I'm very familiar with, they remake maybe too soon as far as the time time difference.
Yeah.
Like say I always reference Nightmare on Elm Street because Robert Englund's still with us.
Right.
But where they remade the one where it wasn't the new one where it wasn't the new ones were just coming out on Blu-ray. There's a certain time period that
Right.
But anyway, with the original, was Larry, would you say, because of how many people associate with the show with him, was Larry, would you say, the glue that held everything together?
Oh, yeah. 100%. And it's funny because his character and Linda Gray, they were like the sub characters. It was supposed to be Romeo and Juliet story with Patrick Duffy, Victoria Principal, and this JR character came to life through Larry, and they knew that was like the star of the show, and he definitely was the glue that he even before I arrived, he, like, Charlene had been written off the show for years, and he made the producers, because he became a producer, so he brought her back actually the year I started, and so he definitely got his way on certain things. He made sure certain things were happening. Linda Gray wanted to direct, and I think he advocated for her hard to be able to direct. So those kinds of things. Yeah, Larry had a lot of input.
And, when it comes to Dallas, at least from the pop culture side of things, it makes an impact. Besides, obviously, you did the remake and all that stuff.
Right.
You made an impact when you have shows, say, like The Simpsons and such, do a spin-off or a parody of Who Killed JR, but Maggie killing Mr. Burns or attempting to kill him. You have other ones taking that storyline to
that's how you're in the the lexicon or whatever.
Yeah, that was the word I was thinking of, lexicon.
Yeah.
So the other pop culture thing I want to mention before I go back to and we end with demons and such, was, and I know I heard this on the other conversation that as I put down my bottle, because this is a fun, relaxed conversation. I'm enjoying it. So thank you.
Thank you.
But the other thing, pop culture was obviously Growing Pains and the singing and all that fun stuff of Brick House. So, and obviously you had Kirk Cameron and
Growing Pains are like, what are you talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, it was a TV show, folks, and it wasn't
Yeah.
Patrick Duffy. He did Step by Step, but, and I'm showing my age knowing that, but
yeah.
So anyway, doing working with Kirk Cameron and
Right.
doing Brick House, and how much effort was it to? Because obviously we're dealing with your regular speaking voice to go that, you know.
It was so easy. So I did it in the audition, and you know, the character was described as an annoying voice. I can't remember exactly. So that was just the voice that I came up with. And, you know, it's just funny because I've always had a hang up about my voice as far as the theater. I was a drama major in college, and it was like a really big bone of contention with my professors because they considered my voice not to be deep and theatrical. You know, that it was thin and high. And so I was always self-conscious of it. And so for me, the irony is so much of my work is kind of like known for, like, obviously the character on Growing Pains. I have this really high kind of voice like this. And Dallas, I have an accent. So, you know, that was also a choice I made. So it's just funny that the thing that I was most self-conscious of was the thing that I got to play around with the most. But yeah, it was a really fun show. And that too was only supposed to be one episode. And they turned it into a two-part. And that is always a beautiful thing when you're an actor, because you're like, 2 weeks of work, you know.
2 paychecks, I'm free. Yes, ma'am. Yeah,
That's
when and where.
That's right. That's right. So it was huge.
So obviously, like I said, going back to Demons a little bit, and that was your first real gig where you can go quit the waitressing deal and stuff, and which is awesome. And you know, you mentioned that with the photo with the changing of the outfit to go with the Alice in Wonderland and stuff.
Yeah.
And I wanted to mention this earlier when you were talking about the actor asking about the photo, et cetera, et cetera. And I guess maybe it's just me, and I'm very liberal. I guess you would say very liberal, very open-minded and stuff. But the thing with that particular scene that kind of was your brother coming out of the closet.
Yeah. But I wasn't naked. I think because I wasn't naked. Is that like you felt uncomfortable by that? Like I understand. A
little bit. Like it's, you get a pass, like it's cool, like because you weren't naked, anything like that.
Yeah, right.
But it was, I guess, because there's two in my family. There's two of us. I'm the older. I was the crash test dummy, another 80s reference, and then they got it right with my sister. So, not that I'd want to see anything with my sister. You know.
Exactly.
But you know what I mean? It's like, I know the old joke is it's better to go down a hall than down a street, but I'm not part of that family.
What?
But no. So, yeah. And people say, well, what about bathing suits and this?
I've heard that expression before. Wait, that's just sitting with me. What?
That's an old joke in the Northeast. It's better to go down a hall than down a street. It's a joke. It's a joke, folks, before you get your email and text and all that stuff. So I was kidding, folks. But you know, that was kind of so, but it is what it is. And I just thought of it because I just mentioned it with the outfit that you had, the Alice in Wonderland and such.
Yes.
Was that done purposely to reference The kind of
like going down the rabbit hole, kind of.
yeah, pretty much.
So I give 100% credit to Kevin Tenney, the director. Judy was written as Little Red Riding Hood. Kevin thought that was too demonic, the red. He wanted something lighter. You know, she's very goody two-shoe. So he thought of the Alice in Wonderland with the reference of, you know, going
you blend
down
in different,
the rabbit hole. Yeah. A whole house being the rabbit hole or whatever. So, yeah.
No, that makes sense. I didn't hear her put that. Because with demons, I wasn't. And some of you, like I said, I deal with some of the influences in the horror world and everything else. Like I mentioned earlier, DeAndre couldn't join us and such. But
tell her I said hi.
I will. And I actually sent a message saying how sweet you are and stuff. So, but because being a Northeast guy, I go with my gut instinct with my interactions with folks, and I wasn't gonna lie to her, but obviously I've gotten a good vibe from you. But
that's the best thing you could say. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes, I rather, I rather.
That's the only thing that's important is,
because here's the thing.
Person.
And I know we're getting sidetracked, and I forgot where we were. We were talking about the mixture. No, it's fine. But
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. But with that thought process, it's one of those you hear, especially in your world and everything, the entertainment world, and doing this and any different aspect of life. You get people doing the whispers. Oh, don't deal with that person. Don't deal with that. This one, trying to start drama. And 9 times out of 10, I'm like, you know what? Off. I will make a judgment on dealing with a person based on my experience with them.
Absolutely.
And that's why, and Hal will tell you, I tried to introduce him to a few people in his neck of the woods of California who were in the entertainment field. And I'm going to make an assumption on people based on my interaction with them, not anybody else's.
Yeah, it's hearsay. It's rumors. Like yes, I agree. I've been told so and so is not, and then I got along with them so great, and I thought they were funny and interesting and not off-putting or whatever. So I 100% agree with you. You have to judge a person yourself. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because here's the thing, and this might sound weird, but I keep it very simple. I go with the KISS theory. Keep it simple, stupid. And
like that.
It's at the end of the day, would I want to sit down and have a drink with somebody, or would I want to sit and be in that person's company for dinner? Or, in a regular, trust me, it's great. You were an actor and I'm a fan of your work and stuff, but it's as a person, would I want to, like I said, would I want to sit down with that person as a real person, having a conversation like this? Do I want to have a drink with them, or would I want to have dinner with them, or would these be people that I'd want to have a good interaction with? And obviously you fit in that category with other folks, you're welcome. And I speak from the gut and go with the gut instinct, and you fit that category. But with Judy, I remember where I was going to go with that.
Oh, okay, good. Yay.
Yeah. Coming back, sometimes we sidetrack folks, this. In 12 years, it happens. But with Judy, like you said, she was kind of goody two-shoe, this, that, and the other.
Yes.
And we see, for the most part, over the evolution of the movie and the character and stuff like that. But how much of Judy that we see in the film was Cathy as a person at that age she's presented?
Really good question. Really good question, because I was 23 and I was the goody two-shoe pretty much in high school. Now, I have to say that, there's the bad boy in Night of the Demons. There's the 2 goth girls. There's the football jock jerk dude. There's the smart, funny guy. There is every type of teenager,
represented.
presented and amplified in a very 1980s horror film, campy sort of way. So I think all the characters are over the top of whatever they personify. So, Judy's a little annoying, but at the same time, it was written how it was written. There was an evolution. She was the final girl. So there's a lot to be said for her resilience. But I'd say, she was the good girl. That's kind of how I was in high school. I wasn't a drinker. I was in the marching band and I was a cheerleader. I didn't smoke pot, so I was very much that, which is probably why I got cast. And so it wasn't obviously a huge stretch, but so I knew who she was, yes. And then, the script, was what it was, and we had the joy of getting to make this amazing movie.
Well, you know what? I just thought about this, and I remembered this from the other day when I was kind of putting my notes together. And it's scary, like I said, coming in prepared. What the hell? No, but and just remembering what I remember from high school. And I wasn't in the cool clique or anything like that, but I noted of the different categories, like you said, you got the marching band, you got the cheerleaders, you got this one, you got that one, the different.
Right.
So what I was thinking of, and it came back to me, was I'm a clairvoyant, damn it. No, but you were both a cheerleader and in the band.
Yeah.
So, and was obviously two different groups per se. So mixing that, what were you? How was that for you?
That was my favorite thing. I did not want to be defined. And not that I was going out there to do different things just to not be defined as such. I really went, I swam on the swim team. So I was a little jock. I was a little swimmer. But I loved that I couldn't be pigeonholed. I wasn't a part of the cool, like my friends were like the drama nerds. I was in drama. So my friends were the drama nerds. But I was also, I was a cheerleader. So, and I love that. I didn't want to just be cliquey with one group. You couldn't define me, but I'd say the overreaching was, I was the good girl. Out of the characters of Night of the Demons, yes, absolutely. But I didn't want to be defined as that because I felt like I was so much more than that. And, I was a band geek and a cheerleader. So like, go ahead, pigeonhole me into one group, I'm both, So, I prided myself on that, to be honest.
And she won't tell you about that one time in band camp.
And one time at band camp, we weren't supposed to have pillow fights, but we had a pillow fight, and it was so much fun.
Oh, wait, wrong movie. My bad. No. Allison, I loved your character in the American Pie series, but no. The joke was there, folks. Obviously. Yeah. I'll add the drum roll afterwards. And, so obviously, I can't believe we've been doing this almost an hour. It's probably been torture for you, but it's been fun for
Not
me.
at all. Really great questions, by the way, like very thoughtful, unique questions. And I commend you for that because
thank you. I try.
Yeah. Your angle on some of the questions was awesome. Yeah.
So I guess my two final questions for you are, because you're getting back into the acting game, as we've talked about.
Trying.
Now that your kids are grown up per se.
Right.
You've been dipping your toe back into the professional side of things.
Yes.
So I guess my final two questions would be, and I don't know if it would be the same from the PC and AC, as I like to say. We can go to BC and PC, before kids and post kids.
Okay, yeah. Got it. I was like, what does that stand for? Okay, got it.
That's where I'm going. That's where I was going at. Before kids and post kids. Not that your kids are going anywhere, folks. I didn't mean that. No, but how is your approach, you think, as far as when you were before kids, as far as like when you read the scripts and the different projects? And do you think you have the same mentality for things that you're trying to go for now? Or do you think your mentality has changed just because you're in a different spot in life? Okay, I'm a mom, I'm certain age, I'm not, you're just in a different place in your life than you were when you did Dallas and Demons and all that. You're just in a different place.
Well, first of all, one job led to another, led to better agents, that kind of thing. So
you had a good 5-year run, by the way. Sorry to interrupt.
Great. Exactly. I always say I had 5 years where I made a living as an actor. Like that is, and then I stepped away to raise my kids because I felt like, that was a one-time opportunity. They grow up and they're gone, which is so true. And then my youngest, graduated 2 years ago from high school, 4 years ago, went off to college 2 years ago. But as we said, I now take care of my mom. So I'm not free to like go out, like do what I did when I was 22, which was, take classes, get an acting, get agents, and just dive right in. I would very much like to do that. I just need to sort of like figure out as my mom's disease progresses, what that's going to look like. If there comes a point where she doesn't even know who I am, it will be easier to like leave her and hire somebody to come in and be me. So yes, do I want to get back to work? 100%. Do I know what that's going to look like, or do I have a time frame? No, but I do think that I could do it. Like there's times where I'm like, I totally can do this. Now it's 30 something years later and the business is different. I'm obviously way older, not going to be going.
Like I said, just things are different from
that standpoint alone.
From all aspects.
All aspects. And but there's so much content out there that I feel like, why couldn't I get a job? Like there's so much content.
There's got to be a lane for me here.
Gotta be a lane. And, I know there's probably not many women in their 60s that, a lot of people leave and then they don't come back. So I also feel like there's got to be some opening shots for people.
I got to call bullshit. There's no way you're in your 60s.
I just turned 60.
Oh, boy. God bless you.
Thank you. I know. Did I say that out loud?
No, but you know what I mean? Again, I'm not an ass kisser. You don't look good. You don't look like you're 60. I'm sorry.
That is so nice of you. Yeah, I am. And I it used to be that actors never talked about their age, but it's on IMDb. It's on Wikipedia. There's like, there's no getting away from it. So I like embrace it, whatever.
I am. This is who I am. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry I interrupted.
That's really kind of you. So I always said, when I was raising my kids, I can act when I'm 80. So I'm hoping I get to it before then, but I feel like it's possible. Of course it's possible.
But okay, the other part of that was though, is do you think your process will be different and preparing for?
Really good question. I think I will be a way better actress, a much deeper actress. You have a life of lived experience now that I can bring to a role that I didn't. I had a very hard time. I mean, not so much crying, but because my character in Dallas cried a ton, but getting to like deep spots. I had such a great life and I am so happy, that I didn't have dark places to pull from. And I still don't have dark places, but obviously I've, lived a lot of life. And so I feel that hopefully I can bring that to whatever.
Bring the life experience you've had in the time away.
Correct.
All right. So obviously I'm going to share the Instagram link that is public, but would that be the spot you'd recommend people to come check you out, Instagram?
I try. I'm not very good at the social media, but I do have an Instagram Cathy Podewell, and it's just like old photos, like my personal photos of like Night of the Demons and things like that. And I post like personal stuff that I have that may not be out there. Or sometimes if I'm doing like the New Jersey Horror Con, I'll post that kind of thing. But there is a sweet man who started a Facebook page, and I would be remiss if I did not give him a shout out via the Facebook. It's a Cathy Podewell fan page, and I think we're approaching like 19,000 followers. And I'm saying we, and it's really he's
doing the heavy lifting.
He's doing it. It's his. He came to me and said, "Could I do this?" And I gave him my blessing. I was very like, don't put too much time. I don't know how many, I don't know how successful it'll be, but whatever you want to do. And then he's like, blown my mind of how many people actually could care less about. So anyway, that's
well, I'll share that as well. So I'll get that off for you and share that as well.
Perfect.
But Cathy, thank you so much for the time.
Thank you. It was really fun. Bye, everybody.
Hey there, Friday fans. We know how much you enjoy the movies. Enjoy grabbing your Friday merchandise and interacting with the Friday family, whether it be at conventions or during our particular watch-alongs. Well, when you're looking to get yourself masks, why not check out our friends over at Camp Blood Customs out of New York State and order your specific custom mask from any of the films. All orders are made specifically. Your needs and wants are. Make sure you find Camp Blood Customs on Facebook, Instagram, and all over social media and order yours today.
Hi, I'm Linnea Quigley. I'm a Scream Queen, and I'm on Crazy Train Radio. Listen if you dare.